Hello and welcome to QUTV News This Week. I'm Taylor King and it is Wednesday, April 22nd. The QUTV News team is reporting from Illinois, Missouri, North Carolina, and Australia. We begin today with a flood that happened this past weekend in the Student Living Center. I got the tail end of the commotion since this happened at 3 in the morning on Sunday. The cause of the flood was by the sink left on in a student's bathroom. The water seeped through the walls and the ceilings of the third, second, and first floors. They had to inform that one student living in that room that is actually currently home in Wisconsin that she needed to have her things removed so that they could dry out the room. This seems to happen more often than not in the student living center. But one student living in that room said that they were the only one in SLC to not have an emergency drain in our bathroom sink. For the most part, the water is almost done drying up in the student living center, so things are starting to slow down. But when it comes to moving out this semester, things look a little bit different around this time. I spoke with Andrea Kruger about what the process is and what your rooms need to look like before you leave for the summer.
There's 3 time slots per every hour that we have available to sign up for, and that is intentional to limit how many people are coming to our campus at one time. And then people will notice that the weekend dates are not on there, but what we're doing is, like, if the only date that they can come is a Saturday or a Sunday and they reach out to us, we're going to work around that as best we can, and to also comply with minimizing how many people we're bringing on campus at one time. So what I've had a couple students reach out to about specifically is this scenario where, this person brought their own bed and then I took their bed to my room. So how do we handle that? So it's kind of falling on the person who has the extra furniture, unless those 2 people are here on the same day, the same move-out appointment, but that person is moving the extra bed back to the open space when they've reached out to us. So I've been working with that as needed as well. It's come up a lot more frequently than I anticipated, but so that just means in previous years people have taken care of it really well.
Mm-hmm. Now with a story about social distancing and what that's supposed to look like, here's QUTV's Abigail Moore.
Hi, Dad. A night to remember is how Claire Moore described her Saturday night.
Today was supposed to be our senior prom, so I'm glad that we did something for it.
Another event canceled by COVID-19 was made up through teamwork and creativity. Her family surprised her with a prom at home in hopes of making up for the night she would have had.
For these seniors that don't get everything that comes with the last semester of their senior year, it's just not fair. It's not right. I felt as though it was my duty as her mother to give her the opportunity that everybody else on the planet got.
The night began with a fancy dinner. Later they moved to the basement where the fun would begin. Her brother Colin supplied the acoustics for the night.
The anticipation of being able to see a smile on her face is everything that I hope for.
I even had the opportunity to award Claire and her date with the highest prom honor.
I am very thankful for my family right now that they put this together.
Claire says she's hopeful that QUTV will reschedule their prom for sometime this summer. And she'll get to pull out that dress once again. Abigail Moore, QUTV News, Quincy.
Thanks, Abigail. I'm Raven Ash. I'm here in Spring Lake, North Carolina. With the animal shelters being closed, people home from work, and adoptions at a halt, Americans are stepping up now more than ever to foster animals. This prevents the animals from being stuck in the shelter during statewide lockdowns. Some shelters are even reporting that they are empty for the first time ever. Meet Luna, the newest member of our family. Luna is just one of the animals finding her forever home amid the COVID-19 crisis. She's a sweet girl who loves cuddles and belly rubs. But without our help, it is likely that she would have spent the next 30-plus days in the shelter with little human interaction. Luna began as our foster pup just a few short weeks ago, but is now on her way to adoption. Experts say that by fostering and adopting an animal during these uncertain times, it's not only a win for the animal, but it can also combat your own stress levels and loneliness. Raven Ash, QUTV, North Carolina.
I'm Chloe Knott, reporting from Tamworth, Australia. As many supermarkets remain low on fresh produce, growing your own veggies and herbs can be a great way to pick up a new skill with ongoing benefits. Today my dad and I are planting some seedlings in an old section of guttering.
Remember to check what plants are best suited to grow in your area. Firstly, you want to fill the area with good quality potting mix. Incorporate manure or compost that will hold moisture and provide nutrients required for growth. Next, remove the seedlings carefully from the punnet. Seedlings can be bought from a store or grown from seed. Take the seedlings and plant them, allowing some space between. Finally, water the plants each day or two.
And eventually you'll be picking the freshest produce you can get. Reporting from Tamworth, Australia, I'm Chloe Knott. Working from home sure makes working out tricky, but QUTV's Alexa Lowe found one company trying to keep its employees healthy.
Exercising without a gym can be difficult. Here's how one gym user is staying active. Before quarantine, Casey Lowe would visit the gym at least 3 times a week. She would have a set schedule with a workout for each day.
Before, it was like everything was on a schedule and I could go Monday, Wednesday, Friday and go to a different class each week, and I always knew what I was going to do. Now it's kind of different because I don't really have that schedule. I have to work around my work schedule, working from home, and then I have to work around, if it's raining, I can't go outside, or I have to find different things to do. I can't keep it consistent.
In an effort to stay active, Lo has been taking walks during her lunch break and doing yoga in her living room.
If it's nice out, then I can go for a walk for a couple miles around my neighborhood, but if the weather's not nice or if I don't have time, then I like to do YouTube videos of different workouts. One that I've enjoyed lately is Yoga by Adrian. I like that one because there's a bunch of different types of workouts you can do, as well as different time lengths depending on how much time you have.
For this week's COVID-19 updates, Q has announced they are waiving all graduate admission tests for prospective students, as well as the $200 enrollment fee for accepted students. Students also received an email from Christine Tracy Monday morning about virtual Hawk Wild. The event will begin Thursday, and teams of 4 to 8 can sign up via Google Forms. Students and employees are invited to make teams, and per usual, the winners will receive prizes. That's it for your weekly updates.
Thanks, Alexa. Months spent recruiting. Countless hours spent on the practice field, getting to know new teammates, getting acquainted with a new school. All this just to play 5 games. This is the reality the Quincy University lacrosse team had to face when its inaugural season got canceled almost before it even started. Head coach Eric Ruppel says this pandemic has made ever more relevant the phrase, treat every game like it's your last.
Every practice is going to be a little bit more high tempo, high pace, high energy, because even in the doldrums of fall for us or spring, that's going to be in the back of their heads. Like, this could genuinely be taken away at any time. We might as well persevere through.
The Hawks were in Huntsville, Alabama on the 3rd leg of their 4-game spring break road trip when the season was officially called off. They did get their game in against Alabama Huntsville on Thursday, March 12th, but after the announcement came the next morning that the season had officially been canceled, the team hopped on a bus and made the trek back to Quincy.
There were some somber moments back because, the ride back to Quincy is 10 hours, and we did take our time a little bit. It was jovial at times, but then, the wave of emotion hits, and you could see them all crash kind of at once and just be a little bit somber about it.
Upon returning to Quincy, the players packed up their dorm rooms and headed home. For freshman Grayson Kwan, home is with his family in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
For me, I was actually pretty lucky because my parents had came down for our spring break road trip. So once we knew that classes had all been canceled and our season was done, I pretty much just packed up my room Saturday, and because we didn't know with the travel bans and stuff that had been coming into place, if I was going to be able to come back, whether it was for school or to grab all my stuff. So we just pretty much packed up my room and headed home on Sunday. So it was a quick turnaround.
So how are things in the Kwan household during quarantine? Well, depends on the day.
We have our good and our bad days, whether it's just me and my sister having some banter, whether it's just everyone needs their own space. But it's been pretty good for the most part, all doing our parts to keep the house clean. And my sister already had quarantine rules set for us when we got home, so it's been good.
Before I concluded each interview, I asked both coach and player their words of advice during these tough times.
It's tough after 3 or 4 weeks when you want to go outside and you want to go do this and you want to go do that and you physically can't because things that you can't see are preventing it. So as long as you keep that mentality that, like, as long as we weather the storm, it'll be fine, and you keep a tough mentality, you'll see the other side of this pretty quickly. But if you start to crumble and are a little bit weak-willed, it's going to be a rough time.
Just make sure to keep your social distancing, wash your hands, stay clean, and stay safe.
Not quite as lengthy a message from Mr. Kwan, but certainly no less profound. Reporting from Wentzville, Missouri, I'm Shane Halsey. QUTV's Alex Aubuchon is reporting from Missouri as well. Alex?
During a time of great loss, some families are in need of a funeral home to help them send off a loved one. I recently spoke with Jim O'Donnell of O'Donnell Cooks and Life Celebration Home of Quincy about some of the challenges families are facing.
The greatest challenge is this, is what we do as funeral directors is assist families through one of their toughest times, and the way we do that is provide a healing experience, and the way we heal is we gather together. Well, currently we can't gather together in the numbers that we normally would. With our restrictions right now, our services must be private, they must be 10 people or less.
In addition to all of the challenges being faced by families, I also asked Mr. O'Donnell about what new rules and regulations had been put into place for funeral homes and keeping them clean.
And additional training that the staff has went through to make sure that we're staying safe, that we're trained in procedures as far as taking loved ones into our care, as far as decedent transfers, making sure that we are safe, that our facility is cleaner.
Funeral homes are going through a lot of training and care to ensure they remain a safe and clean place to help you celebrate the life of a loved one. For the entire QUTV News team, I'm Alex Aubuchon. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. QUTV is telling your story.